Hey, Foxy back with another Siege video. Today we are in Red Comet. So thank you so much, Red Comet, for letting me make this video to showcase your meta defenses. So you guys had some good feedback. You want to know what's more meta defenses. So today we are in the rank 5 guild here to do a video to showcase their monsters. So before I go on, if this is what you like, make sure you drop a like, subscribe, and comment to let me know what you want to see next. So let's go in. I want to say beforehand, I'm not allowed to show the runes on it, but I can give you an idea based off my knowledge on how these monsters are runed, okay? So here we will see that this is all the same. Well, that makes my job a lot easier here, okay? So the idea behind this team is obviously you don't know if it's a Swift Lauren. You don't know if it's a Violent Lauren, so Lauren provides the defense break. Kamoon is probably on a Rage or a Swift build to do damage, but also provides a shield for sustain for the Lauren because the Lauren's base stats are the weakest. So this is basically a very heavy sustain team with the beta here. So beta can be rooted on Swift. It's on Swift. It's probably going to cheese some people with the anti-crit. It's on Violence that provide a lot more sustain and a lot more grindy match here. So this team, I guess the way it works here is basically controlling and making you waste all your bruisers. Like, sure, you can take down all of these monsters here, but then they'll just retake their tower, slap these all back, and how many bruisers do you essentially have? Obviously a little bit more premium because of the mermaid, but we saw previously another variation of this is using the Miho. So let's move on from the Nat4 tower to the outer ring here. So very similar meta. Looks like they like to toss everything into one tower. So if you guys didn't watch the malicious one, I'm going to re-explain to you how this team works. So if you're a primary Sierra user, you will see the middle monster is generally an Iris or a Lauren here. And this team is all Iris. The reason how it works here is if it's a Lauren or an Iris, it provides a strip for the Sierra to drop a bomb, but also if it's a Lauren, it provides a defense break for the Route to do tons of damage. However, in this team, I think, or it should be, the Iris should do an AoE strip first, and then the Route can bring in the Sierra and Iris again for more CC with the spare, but also attack bar gauge on Sierra. There's a defense breaker on the team here, so there is going to be more damage than usual. However, like I said before, the other variation of this is running the Lauren here. So you will see the variation of Daphnis here. I don't think the Daphnis works as well as the Route because the Route is the attack bar increase and cycles the bombs onto the Sierra, and the Daphnis strips, right? So it doesn't really, it synergizes well with the Sierra, but I don't think not as well as the Route here. So let's move on to the middle tower. So the middle tower, it looks like we have basically LD monsters. I guess Sylvia, I guess this guild is blessed with Sylvia here. So I don't think this team has a high win rate. Reason being is because even though you have a 33 speed lead, the Black Charlotte does not provide attack speed, right? It doesn't provide attack bar gauge. At least I don't think it does. Correct me if I'm wrong there. But it gives you attack buff. So it cycles and goes a lot. However, you can take first turn and you can Lucian this. I'm pretty sure you can Sierra, Lucian, like, and T on this, and then it's a free W. So I honestly don't think this has a high win ratio. I didn't look at the win rate, but I don't think this is like a super legit defense. But I mean, look, the speed lead on Sylvia makes it scary, obviously. And how this one works, essentially, like I said before, the Kamoon, Lauren, defense break, shield, and then you just put in a premium Miho called the Black Vela Jewel, and he does a truck ton of damage because there's a defense break on this team. And here, this is like a variation of the Galleon Triton Perna defense, where the Light Druid is a stripper, aka the Triton as well. Or some people, like if your budget, use like a Praha or a Juno. But by having Triton, you have Tri-Element. So how this team works, essentially, you either outspeed or you shield will and take a risk, and it's very easy to beat, right? The first option is to just outspeed it and go. However, what if you face a team again? How many options do you eventually have to face a similar Galleon, Triton / stripper, Light Druid, Perna team? So moving down, this is, like I said, this looks very legit. Reason being, 33 speed lead. You don't know if Lauren is on Swift or Violent. If it's on Swift and you didn't try to outspeed it, then you're basically gonna get one bot by the Perna Sylvia combination. And if it's on Violent, then there's even more chances for the Lauren to kind of troll your team. But you have to think, is it a Swift or Violent? Having that ambiguity makes your defense a little bit more scary because they can't just run in knowing how to beat it. But let's just say that it's on Swift Lauren, right? You can easily put a Shield Will team and try to tank it through and manipulate the AI by putting out like a Diaz, for example. And then the Sylvia would target it with the Lauren. However, Shield Will teams are always never 100% because RNG. So keep that in mind. Same concept here as this team here. Defense break from the young Orion. 33 speed lead on the Orion here, and you don't know if it's on Violent, you don't know if it's on Despair, you don't know if it's on Swift, so you're taking a risk here. So you'll see common theme here, ambiguity here. You don't know what is going first. And here, okay, this is a very meta defense, but I think this is very easy to beat. How it works here is, I guess the Odin gets enough buffs or stacks from the shield buff from Bastet and the Kamoon to one-shot something. However, you can easily manipulate it by putting a water unit like Rena or Camilla and make sure that the Odin targets that and you can't really beat it. I mean, like the Odin can't beat it because Camilla passive counters you. How much damage can you possibly do on the Rena to one-shot it? If you one-shot it, you can revive it and then keep having the Odin manipulate the AI. So I'm pretty sure, like, there's only so many Renas and Camillas you'll have, right? So eventually, you're going to start losing to it, like all teams. But overall, I don't think this is, like, super scary just because you can manipulate the AI to beat this. So definitely very meta, but very also easily beatable. And you're probably asking me, how do you ruin the Bastet? As always, the best answer is always going to be is either Violent or Swift. There's nothing in between. You're not going to put it on broken. It's going to be Swift or Violent here. And like I said before, it's ambiguous. If this is a Swift Bastet with speed lead, then you need to outspeed it if you're trying to cleave it. If it's a Violent Bastet, then you have more luxury room to not need to try to outspeed it. And you can pair up another like a speed lead with yourself, like a Sierra, Lauren, to control and outspeed because it's on Violent and you're on Swift Lauren and try to beat it. So common theme here, right? Here we have the other Nat4 tower. It looks like we have twins. We already talked about this. We already talked about that, and twins. So the reason why you will see the twins team is so popular is because the Triana, right? So you, like I said before, you don't know if the Martina, Shayna is going to be on Swift, Violent. If it's on Swift, then there's a potential to one-shot your team, right? We saw this before the meta got changed with the twins got nerfed. The Shayna Martina cleave because they're super fast and they basically one-bop your team. However, they got nerfed. So nowadays, I think most of these teams, like these Martina, Shayna teams, are most likely on Violent. Some sort of low crit rate build, but pretty tanky. But overall, because it gets so many turns, the small, like 50-60 crit rate, eventually it does enough damage to dwindle you down with a sustain of Triana. So this is definitely a very meta team. I would probably build the Martina, Shayna team probably like speed crit damage HP, speed HP, speed attack HP, you know, some variation like that where it's definitely like support units and not straight up nukers. If it's straight up nukers, it's very easy for you to win because you're doing 3 tank units, manipulate the AI, and boom, donezo. So let's move into the inner towers and let's discuss what we see here. So like I said before, we already talked about this variation here. So people who run Sierra Bastet most likely is probably on a Swift set here. And the idea here is the Daphnis one-shots you, the Rauk Sierra team one-shots you, but there's no stripper on this variation. So I'm not sure if it works really well because you manipulate it with Will Runes and Arena. Here, looks like it's like a second turn. I don't know how this, I don't know the win rate is, but I wouldn't be too scared of this just because it looks very Lucianable, to be honest. Yeah. And same concept here. Don't know if it's speed lead on Swift Daphnis, one shot. Speed lead from Sierra and Lauren, possible one shot, right? So you'll see the common theme here. I think this is probably the worst of the three because Rakan does not very pair up well because Rakan is not built fast. And it will not follow up on this Lauren. Most Laurens at G3 levels like plus 160 Violent or like 200 speed Swift. And there's no way a Rakan pairs up well, and that's why you don't see it very often. Okay, let's move in. Okay, we already discussed this. You will see this is the Sierra Lauren route variation, like I said before. Okay, moving on. Okay, it looks like I swear I'm not clicking it twice. They just have the same, like, look, you beat Tower 11? Surprise! We got 5 more of these. Okay, that's pretty troll. Okay, we're moving on next. Okay, let's look at some of these defenses here. So I see a common theme here. They like to stack all their defenses of the same variation into one tower. I don't know if it's good or bad, but I think it's pretty funny. So I talked about this a bit earlier. This is the formula. Galleon speed lead, stripper that's really fast, or could be really fast. Once again, the ambiguous threat here. And then the Perna. Perna is the crucial item here. You see the variation here? You always see the Perna here. And I'm going to tell you right now, this team here is going to have a negative win rate. Reason being is because you can control it with shield will. AI messes up. You outspeed it, whatever it is, or just bring 3 water monsters, and what is the Perna even going to do to you, right? So it's very easy to beat this team. However, like I said before, eventually you just run out of options, right? But the threat here still exists, guys. Look at it. This Triton, it could be unruined for all I know. But will you risk the fact that's unruined, or maybe it's on Despair or on Swift? You know, there's 3 assumptions here. It could be unruined, it could be on Despair, it could be on Swift. You don't know what to bring into this team. So the idea here is you need to outspeed it, which is going to be really hard because you can assume Triton's on Swift for the most safe assumption here. But most likely it's going to be on Despair as well. So then you got to think, okay, what do I do after that? Because Triton's base speed is still pretty fast, and plus 170 Despair set is not uncommon. Plus the base speed of Triton makes it like, it's going to have a negative win rate, but it will take a lot of good monsters away from your box, and it will achieve its purpose here. So here we see a lot of really old school defenses here. Really old school. I don't know if it's good, but it's definitely old school. So how it works here is you have the 33% HP from Molong, Tri-Element from Perna. The Wind Monster is typically a sustain unit. So sustain reviver, Eladriel, Triana, and most newly here, Tyrannus here. So you'll see here the same variation here, right? So you have a defense breaker, you have a damage threat from the Perna. So Molong goes first, damage threat Perna one-shots something, or Molong uses 3rd skill, Perna finishes it off with some violent procs, and Eladriel heals up the Molong that uses his 3rd skill and destroyed his own HP. Here, same variation here, right? Except the only reason why this one's really bad is because it's copper bulldozer food. You copper the Molong, you bulldoze the Triana, and then you work on the Ritesh one at a time. The reason why you go for Molong first is because it's got the stun, and you can't risk that stunning your bulldozer here. So this one's probably the worst of their variation here. I've seen the Ritesh being a Tyrannus having more success because Tyrannus can revive, and reviving means a lot more than the Ritesh here. And this team, it's like a budget version of like not having a Perna. You know, Theomar's Elemental King, right? But it doesn't revive, it doesn't sustain with his healing like the Perna does. So it's a little bit more the budget version, but how this team works is the Molong Harmonia. Molong 3rd skills you, Harmonia swaps back and heals Molong. So that's how the idea of this team here, same concept here. So let's move forward to the next one, the Nat 4 Tower. Looks like we're finally seeing some of those Skogul teams here. Ooh. I've never seen a red Ramagod. So, I mean, I don't think I need to talk too much about why Aegir works, but Aegir's an HP lead, works well with Skogul. and the composition synergizes well with some sustain. But like, look at this. You got immunity, double rock throws, so you have to bring some monsters can tank out this team. So you'll see like it's the same style, right? You bruiser out, it's a grind fest. That's the type of defenses we're looking at here. And lastly, here we have the Elsharion teams. Honestly, I'm not sure how the Elsharion teams work, but my thinking here is the Elsharion teams, it robs your immunity. The Elsharion is a damage threat because you're getting protected from the gene. It's also a strip from the Elsharion, so the gene can still provoke. And should your Elsharion die, we have revive, and having defense buff overall from the Druid makes your team pretty tanky. And because it's double light, you can't manipulate the AI too much as well. So you'll see the same variation here. Like, look at this. Honestly, this team, I'm not sold on Red Josephine because you just put a Chilling and rob all his buffs, right? Like, Chilling can rob the Theomar's buff. Chilling can rob the Red Josephine's buff. And what is the AI going to do? The Theomars can target you because Elemental King, and Eladriel is going to target your pumpkin. But what's Eladriel going to do anyways, right? So that's the defense. Like, this three the same here, and this one very much the same as this. No Elsharion, but Theomar's defense break and tons of damage. So you will see the same type of formula here. There's a defense breaker, tri-element, sustain, bruiser comps, and being very ambiguous, swift, or violent for you to guess and take a risk. And if you guessed wrong, you get obliterated. Anyways, guys, I hope this video helped you guys to create some better defenses, putting this knowledge to your to your box. If you can't make these things, knowledge is power, and maybe one day you can. And you can share this video with your guild to try to make some of these meta guild defenses that Red Comet is using. That's also very similar to the other top guilds, as you can see from the malicious video. Anyways, guys, that's all for the meta defenses here. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment if this helped you.